Welcome, Groskies, to another Frugal Force 101. Before I get going, I want to give a special shout out to Astro Charlie. I'm finally smoking on his 24 karat gold. I know he gave it to me a couple weeks ago, but life's been ridiculously hectic, and I'm finally getting to all the samples that everybody gave to me. So don't think I didn't like your samples, everyone. I just now getting to smoke them. And the first one up, I'm enjoying it. Nice fruity taste on it. But back to the Frugal Force. Today, got a request to talk about Synganics. Believe it or not, Synganics is rooted in the history of the Frugal Force in the early days, because I came from using bottles and just straight organic living, reused soil, whatever you want to call it. And it worked. Like, the yields and performance out of the gardens, I cannot lie, was some of the best performing crops that I've had in my lifetime. I was able to basically blow my tents out to the point where my 7-foot tall whatever tents, I would have buds going to the very top, over top the lights, and I was just letting those grow too and be larvae. Didn't care. The yields were absolutely mind-blowing. But that being said, that comes with a lot of work and preparation. There's certain things you need to take into factor. Like, if you're not taking, you have to take extra care of your soil when you're growing in this style if you're wanting to continue to reuse it. The entire time you're doing all your regular regimen, which you'll most likely be cutting down to about half to a fourth of what you normally do, depending on the strain. You're going to want to bring in a lot of microbes. I would highly recommend stuff like Recharge, SLF 100. If you can make stuff yourself, EM1, Labs, that kind of stuff will help you greatly to manage salt buildup and any other kind of issues that you might run into with just using the synthetic feeding. Remember, you're not going to completely decimate your living environment bringing in these bottles. That is a very ignorant statement. From my studies, I've only seen that fungi will shut down in the presence of salts, and bacteria, which from what my studies anyways, they're much more important. They don't know the difference between a salt and a carbon molecule. Keep that in mind. You know, we really hate the battle between synthetics and organics here at Frugal Force. We believe everybody should be working on the same team. With that being said, bringing in the conditioners throughout your grow, super important, because I didn't the first round through, and I had to reset my pots, and that is like one of the biggest upsetting things here in the Frugal Forest, because we talk about how important it is to hold those pots steady and stable for years and years and years, because the older they get, the more flavor they pump out and just the better performance. So some of the things I ran into compaction issues. I also ran into what I believe to be extreme salt buildup. I had 7-gallon tall boys, and you could see like huge, like really thick white rings forming up in specific sections of the pot. And once I ended up breaking down those pots, I remember there being just like there wasn't a lot of consistency. Like, the roots weren't going down past that point after so many grows. There wasn't consistent moisture in there. Like, I learned a lot from that one, or those mistakes I should say, to the point where, I mean, I wouldn't, they just end up costing you, you know, too much money, too much time, and like too much worry. That's like one of the big reasons why I grow the way I grow now, beyond just my beliefs in the actual spirituality of this. and the connection you have with the plants, the microbes, leave antidepressants, all that stuff comes up into our plants, into our medicine, when we have these natural living environments. Man, Charlie, this shit got me stoned. I'm kind of rambling off topic here. Let me go back. I'm pulling like an Uncle Rick here. Or a Red, I should say. Trying to think of anything else I'd like to give tips on Synganics. I guess lastly, just be like, don't be discouraged on Synganics. There is nothing wrong with growing in that way, as long as you're responsible with your runoff and how you do your waste and all that good stuff. You can obtain the flavors and the aromas and the yields and all that stuff that you want. In synthetics, it is just much harder. It takes a lot more skill to bring in those secondary metabolites and all those good things that make your flower really stand out. It is just much easier to do it in these living natural environments, especially as the soil ages. It's basically set it and forget it if I really want to nowadays. I guess on that note, best of luck, and may the frugal force be with you.